Hey, it's me, Jetski, and today we are talking about Sonic Movie 3, a movie that has actually had a lot more information come out on it recently. Now, if you remember, I had actually done a video eerily similar to this a long time ago. However, that video was very poorly put together, and I thought it'd be nice, if I made the same topic again. However, it doesn't look as bad or sound as bad. So, without further ado, let's hop into this video. However, before I start though, I will ask you to please like and sub, as it really helps out the channel. We just hit 123 subscribers. Let's see if we can't hit 130. Anyways, let's hop right into the video. So when it comes to talking about Sonic Movie 3, you actually probably want to talk about the first and second Sonic movies. Specifically, the formula that goes along with those movies as a whole. Specifically when it comes to tone, as I'm not really for sure how they're going to tackle the tone 110%, especially since SA2 is one of the darker Sonic games. And when it comes to talking about the Sonic movies have a pretty cheerful and lighthearted tone, not really being taken very seriously. However, SA2 takes itself extremely serious, so that needs to be addressed in some sort of way. Now, I'm under the assumption that they're probably going to go with something kind of similar to Sonic Movie 2. However, will that work this time? I mean, with Sonic 3, there's a lot of room for interpretation, but with Sonic Adventure 2, that's not really the case. The thing with Sonic Adventure 2 is that it has a much more straightforward story than Sonic 3, leading to a lot less room for interpretation. So if they really want this to work, they're really gonna have to flex their writing skills. Also, when it comes to making this movie work, they have to cut out quite a bit of stuff from SA2, specifically characters. Like, not all the characters from SA2 are gonna be in this movie, unfortunately. I doubt they have Rouge, and at most they might have Amy. But that's about all I see in this movie. Another thing that gets brought up a lot is casting for characters like Shadow specifically. Now, there's a lot of people who want old Sonic voice actors to come back, specifically Jason Griffith to come back and do Shadow again, but honestly, at this point, I heavily doubt that. I mean, with Colleen, I'm pretty sure they just felt like they had to do it since they had done it in the last movie, and they didn't feel like recasting her again with a big star like Tom Holland. So I'm pretty sure that's the only reason she's actually in the Sonic movies, to be honest. The fact of the matter is, the studio is probably going to ask for a bigger name star to play a bigger name character in the Sonic franchise, especially since the Sonic franchise has gotten so popular. The fan base has thrown out possible names like Keanu Reeves and Robert Pattinson as possible actors who could play Shadow. Now, when it comes to Amy, I do think they should get a much more comedic actress to play her, as I feel like it would fit the role a lot better than, just some random big name actor or whatever, or actress in this case. Now, I know I've been kind of jumping around with this, but I really think I should get back to this and really reinstate this. The fact of the matter is, the first two Sonic movies were massive hits, some of the biggest video game successes in the movie industry ever, at least up to this point. Now, it still remains to be seen how exactly they will go about doing a much more story-driven game, but I'd like to throw my hat in the ring and just kind of pre-write what I think the movie will actually be about. So we start off with Eggman wreaking havoc and just breaking into this military base to try and find some stuff he thinks might be useful. However, he eventually stumbles upon Project Shadow, aka Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, Eggman does a little research on some kind of computer or monitor or something like that, and he finds out who created Shadow, that being his great-grandfather Gerald Robotnik. It's at this point where Eggman realizes that he can use this to finally put Sonic 10 feet under. We then cut to the most iconic part of Sonic Adventure 2, the opening, where Sonic jumps out of the helicopter, rips off a piece of the metal, and grinds down San Francisco streets. That has to be in this movie. If it's not, people are going to be very upset. Now, before we continue though, I think it might be actually kind of important to explain in why my interpretation why Gunn is still hunting down Sonic, as they still think he's an illegal alien, which he technically is. And since they know where he lives now with Maddie and Tom, of course they're going to try and hunt him down. So in my version of Sonic Adventure 2 movie's adaptation, I definitely think they should cut out the part where he looks like Shadow, because everybody and their grandma has pointed out the fact that he does not look like Shadow. Not at all. So after the city escape scene though, we get to the point where Sonic and Shadow meet, and it's basically a one-to-one from the games. That's how I would do it. However, after that is where things get a little wonky. You see, it really depends on where the writers actually want to take the characters and what characters they want to add or not add to this movie. You see, there could be massive deviations made to Sonic Adventure 2's overall plot as a whole, depending on what characters they want and don't want. So, if Rouge is not in the game, then Shadow doesn't really have much to talk to. So, he might actually have to talk to Eggman or interact with Eggman more in my version of the script, since there might not be a Rouge. Also, you have to factor in Amy, as she does have a somewhat
important part in Sonic Adventure 2's overall plot. So when taking that over, it really depends on when she is or isn't in the movie. In all actuality though, most of her lines or parts in the story could probably just be given over to like Tom or something. In all honesty though, I would love if they kept these characters in. However, I really doubt it. I mean, it's a cramped enough story as it is, and if they really want to focus on Shadow, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, they're really going to need to devote a lot of time to them, so I'd understand why they want to cut out these characters. When it comes to writing a movie like this, you're really going to have to pick and choose your battles on what you do not want to do with this story, and where the places that you want to take it. However, when it comes to the rest of the plot, I would suggest sticking pretty close to the original Sonic Adventure 2. I would change a couple things though, like riding the rocket ship into space is pretty pointless, I mean, especially with the portal rings. Also, you could do something with that too, where you could have it juxtaposed against Chaos Control and the power rings to see really what is better in certain situations, I guess. I definitely think though there is one thing they have to keep from Sonic Adventure 2, and I think it should be stated and not make the same mistake the games did. I think they should just let Shadow die in this one. Honestly, I think it would make a huge impact on this movie and add to its memorability overall. And not only that, I think it could convey a lot of themes and really interesting ideas through the death of Shadow. I think it's something that's super interesting, and Sonic Adventure 2 actually did very well, and I would love to see that implemented very amazingly in these movies. Now, when it comes to talking about the failures of the video games, something that gets brought up quite a lot is they did not need to bring Shadow back. It was not necessary, and I think for this movie, I think he should just be a one-and-done kind of villain, something that really sticks with you. A good example of this would be like Killmonger from Black Panther. You know, he's like a one-and-done villain. He's not coming back. He's very dead at the moment. And I think it's really interesting seeing a villain like Shadow, or not even really a villain, more of like an anti-hero, I guess, portrayed in this light, and I think it could add a lot to the themes of the movie. In all honesty, that's about all I have to say for these suggestions of this movie, and like basically how I think the actual script or finalized project will look like. I guess that really leads me to my conclusion. In conclusion, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. This third Sonic movie has so much potential. It could possibly be one of the best video game movies ever. It could top anything Mario could put out. It has so much potential, and there's so much room for just an amazing video game movie, maybe even a really good movie in general. And it has one of the best video game stories to come out of a Sonic game ever as reference. So there's a lot of potential with this. However, it really depends on how the writers want to go and how they want to take the story, in what direction or whatever. However, it's not really up to me and you, it's really up to the writers, and hopefully they do a good job with Sonic Adventure 2, as it's one of the best Sonic games to ever come out. That's pretty much all I have to say. It was Amiya Jetski, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.